Welcome, welcome. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are on this planet Earth. We welcome you. And we are continuing our discussion, part two on building a tiny house. So let me welcome my tiny house community and let's get in the groove with the beat and get ready to hear from my So there you have it. We're on fire tonight to continue talking about the American dream or the American nightmare. Last week, I came on this platform with my brother, L.A. Davis, who is a do it yourselfer and a blogger and create a radio host. And we talked about, first of all, the American dream. What is that? uh, there is so much confusion in this country, if not the world, about our soul purpose. And that's what we're here tonight. Soul Purpose Healing has been on air for over 11 years now. So, part one of this discussion started out with LA and I talking about what's the American dream? What's that look like now? So, it has a lot to do with your belief systems. And building a tiny house for me was because my belief system changed drastically after a divorce and grown children now, and realizing, my income was limited somewhat. Now I don't believe that at all. I have unlimited income. So tonight we are continuing this discussion about not just building a tiny house, but building your own house. And we might even start with this temple right here, this sacred temple. That's where it really starts, is the sacred temple that our soul lives in. And my guest tonight is very proficient, experienced in not only building the outer house and the inner house and helping us develop our soul purpose and developing our spiritual journey, but he's also put together, or he has created a community, helped create a community that is self-sufficient, that is dependent on the people, not the government. Okay, so let me just share a little bit about the community that he is building, actually has built, and that is continuing to develop. And he's my guest to talk about group economics or single economics and relationships, because in order for him to do what he's doing, he's got to have some support in some shape or form. But I'm going to introduce you to the Temple Kefarim, and where he is the founder. So let's check.
This is for the people in the front and the back, going through the day. You had a lot to do, and you know you got a lot on your plate. Then you gotta make sure you get through the day. And although we got a lot to worry about, I just gotta stop and say, you got it, yeah, you got it, yeah, you got it. Put Put your foot on the pedal, don't you stop it. You got it, you got it, yeah, you got it. Keep on going. Put your foot on the pedal, don't you stop it. Every day, life throws something at you, but be prepared to shift and you start anew. Gear, keep your life in motion, it's part of the commotion. Oh, oh, oh. Stay the course, get your life on track, and whatever you do, there's no looking back. The load gets heavy for us sometimes, but let me sing this to you so that I can remind you. You got it, yeah, you got it, yeah, you got it. Put your foot on the pedal, don't you stop it. You got it, yeah, you got it. Keep on going. Put your foot on the pedal, don't you stop it.
Many moving, but they always getting stuck. Thinking that the road's smooth, but it's kind of tough. It all could change up in a minute. As fast as change clothes after cleaning, you just have to put yours on. Spread your wings and just soar. Go. One day we all gonna see, then we can grow up. I see rise, just gotta believe. First you got to plant that seed. Don't let no one pluck it key. It'll wake yourself up free. This is why, cause if you let them, they will bring you low. And you don't want that just to let you know. I said that all to say you got
it, you got it, yeah, you got it, yeah, you got it. Put your foot on the pedal, don't you stop it. You got it, yeah, you got it. Keep on going. Put your foot on the pedal, don't you stop it. Some say that love is an illusion to those willing to see. You can call me crazy, cause it's tale I do believe. The thought of my beloved keeps me grounded every day.
Wow. Wow. Let me bring my brother on. That is just beautiful. Wow. Whoever put that together had some kind of anointing on them, because that's just, I mean, you can just feel the love, the spirit of love. And looks like a lot of group economics going there, but this is welcome, Prince Yisrael. How in the world, who put that together? That's beautiful. You're muted. You're muted.
Hello. Shalom,
Shalom.
everyone.
Shalom.
And thank you. And hello to all your guests.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, we had, to answer your question, we had one of the brothers in the community. His name is Nasik Shema, and his wife, Nasika Amuna. They are singers, they're vocalists. And they did the editing and they did the songs, the music you hear in the background, that's their music. Look them up. They have their own YouTube page.
Okay.
For anyone looking to, experience their music.
Okay.
Hopefully I'll have it by the end of the presentation so I can share it with the family.
Yeah, we'll put it in the chat. Wow, that's beautiful. Well, thank you so much for joining me, especially on kind of a short notice, but you know how synchronicity and the Most High works. It's like, okay, do this now. It's like, and so we put our foot to the pedal, and we go, right?
Yes.
That's how we are. So again, part one that LA and I did last week, it just came to both of us that we needed to start getting this message out to help people change their lifestyle and stop waiting for the American dream to be created or show up, which is now a nightmare, And so it's funny, you came to mind, especially yesterday when I was watching your teaching. And I'm like, okay, he's the perfect person because you have a construction company or you're in contracting, right?
Yes, yes. We have a construction company in both Philadelphia and Georgia. It's called
Okay.
Build Israel LLC. So anyone
Okay.
can.
Tell us about you. Kind of, most people haven't seen you for in a while. You were on my show like it seemed like 2 years ago. Was it? It's
Mm.
about 2 years ago. It's time has
I'll
passed.
be in the audience. Sometimes I'll be speaking. Sometimes I'll be quiet. But I'll be in the audience. But there was a
Yeah.
little difficult time finding the show today. It's through the link on YouTube. But hopefully people will be able to find it.
Yeah, we got a few people. Let's see. We got 5 people in the audience already. So we'll give you guys a chance to speak after Prince gives an introduction and we talk a little bit. But tell everybody a little bit about yourself, whatever, where you're born or family or whatever you want to share so they get an idea of who you are.
Prince KEZAREDAR Yisrael, the founder of Temple Kifarim. We are a spiritual organization. We worship and serve the creator of all creation. We live our lives based on the teachings of the Torah, the 5 books of Moses. And we've been doing this now for about 30 years, about 30 or so years that we've been doing it. And this has been a new phenomenon hitting the Americas today on the numbers that has been hitting. A lot of our people are waking up to the reality of who they are as the children of Israel, Hebrew Israelites. It's not that it's a new term because it's not new, but the knowledge of it in this generation is something that's been growing and growing and growing and taking a strong impact on the minds of our people today. So that's pretty much who I am. That's pretty much what I'm here for, to serve the Most High and to serve His people. You know?
Now, how did you start your construction company? How
Oh
did that
wow. Well, I'm a bricklayer by trade.
go? Oh, by
I
your
started off,
father? Was it
no,
that handed down?
no, I'm
No.
one of those statistical peoples with the father situation. I've fallen
Oh,
into
okay.
statistics with that.
Okay.
I started off as a laborer. I started off as a laborer, general laborer, and a gentleman saw me laboring, and I wanted to do the brickwork, learn how to do bricklaying. So he gave me an apprenticeship for laying bricks, and I took that craft. I've learned that craft, mastered that craft, and then I went into real estate, home ownership here in Philadelphia. And in home ownership, many things went wrong. And when things would go wrong, I would always hire someone to come in to do the work. And it's always cost me, money that I could have saved had I had the knowledge. So when I would hire them, I would walk and watch and learn and ask questions about how they did what they did. And eventually, I met some people who had the talents, the skills, and the ability, who was willing to share, because that's one of the problems that we have today is our people with the knowledge don't want to share the knowledge with the youth. So I've come across a few people who shared the knowledge, older men that I knew who was millionaires would take me under the wing and teach me things and help me out. And I started a company of my own, Build Israel LLC.
And that's how that's how most of us or a lot of us start our own company. I was working for a house cleaning company when I left the health food store after 10 years. I had to get out of that business. It was too corporate, too much stress. And a woman was looking for someone to build her holistic health cleaning business. And I'm like, yeah, I got energy. I could do that. And so I started working with her and learning how to clean houses holistically with vinegar and water basically and some powder and baking soda without all the toxins. So after working for her and learning about cleaning houses professionally, I started my own company, Holistic Home and Body Care. So we um, entrepreneurs start out learning, right? We start out in school from the experts. And if we can really be patient and humble, I know you had to be humble to learn from someone. You probably thought, well, I already know how to bricklay. I don't need to, at some point, maybe the ego gets involved and you say, well, I don't really need you teaching me. But at some point, you got to know what you're doing. So you can, like you said, you go out on your own. You got your own LLC. I went out on my own. I had a customer for 10 years after that. Well, actually, almost 10 years. After I left her, I had one faithful customer because I'm anal, being detail oriented. I'm very detailed, and that's what she needed. I mean, she was more anal than me, and she lived in, it was a mansion. So we are great examples, I think, of how starting out on your own how you get out on your own, develop your own business. You got to be humble and learn first. And that's why I keep telling my grandkids, you don't need to go to college. You just need to learn the skills and whatever you're passionate about. So,
Well,
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. You say you don't need to go to college. When I was in college, I did go to college. And when I went to college, as an adult, I went back to college. And what I got out of college was that it makes you think. It helps your mind to get creative and it helps you think. So I would suggest that you do go to college, but just don't think that college is going to bring you everything that you need for the rest of your life. It's not going to happen that way. But as a foundation, and with the way the world is today, when you got a degree, it's easier to get employment. Don't mean you're going to make a lot of money. You can have a master's degree and you make $30,000 a year, but having that degree, it'll help you to get a job, but it won't help you to make money. So it's a difference. It could, but the chances are it won't.
And that's debatable in my mind because most young people today who graduate from college have a lot of debt.
Yes.
And they can't find a job to really pay off the debt, so that debt is with them forever.
There you go.
So that's the other side of what you're saying. Yeah, a college degree, if you got a scholarship, I think that would be good. But don't go into debt trying to get a 4-year college degree. No. That ain't happening. Not with I'm trying to discourage them. Their mother is saying, well, you got to go to college. You got to go to college. Like, well, let's work this out. You're only 8 and 10 years old. We'll see what happens. But not going into debt. I think that's ridiculous now. So, yeah. So we want to hear from you. Why did you buy that land? And in Georgia, I mean, were you living in Philly first, and then you got called to Georgia? How did that happen? Where you working in Philly, started your business, and then you end up in Georgia building this community? How did that happen?
Well, I've been a spiritual leader of Temple Kifarim for many years, many over 30 years, I believe it was. And the Creator has always put the spirit in me to own land. In the early 2000s, we used to travel all down Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Savannah. We was all over the place looking to purchase land, to acquire, so we can build a community. But it never came through.
Now, when you say we, who was working with you?
Oh, man, I took my wives, some of the brothers, my wives, we jumped in the minivan and we drove on the road for hours. It was a collective thing. We drove on the road for many hours and, but the deals never came through.
Just looking for land?
Yeah, looking for land to build a community where we could live. And that was in the early 2000s. And then in 2011, 2011, I believe it was, I came to Georgia. And one of the elders that led me around was Elder Dawid. And from Atlanta, where I was with him, he took me to this town called Sparta. And we drove around and we drove around. We found some land. It was 300 acres. We go back to the community. We kept the Shabbat. We were staying there for a little while. That deal didn't go through. And that was in 2011. 2016, I get a phone call from a brother, Nasik Rav and Nasik Yashubel. Hey, Prince, look, we going to get this land over here in Sparta, Georgia, the same place where the Creator took me to like 5 years, 6 years earlier.
Yeah, no coincidence.
I didn't realize it until I got there. So they said, we're going to get this land and we want you to come in and be a part of that with us to work and be the, a spiritual leader at the place with all of us, all three of us on equal terms. So we came. I ended up marrying one of the women there. Her name is Princess Medaya. She was one of the women in the community. So we built a house. We brought a house down there on that land. And that land was at that time, I believe, was 70 acres of land. And then we moved. Well, before we moved, we had in 2018, we rode around looking for land that I could buy for myself.
Wow.
So I purchased the land that I purchased for myself, but I still lived on the land with the other two brothers. So I had my land, renting it out to some Europeans, hunters. They was renting the land from me, and I lived around the corner on the other land with the community.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually in 2000, I would say about 2 years ago, we moved off that land and moved onto our own land. And that's where we've been since for the last 2 years. We got a lot of great things accomplished, as we worked together. We built a lot of things, schools, a whole lot of things we built. And we learned a lot. We worked together. And that's what's important.
Absolutely. Unity, harmony, and
Yeah.
cooperation. And then the what's really important is resolving conflicts.
Yes.
So because they're going to come up, right?
Well, I mean, I guess that would depend on what you call conflict.
Yeah.
What I learned dealing with our people, we have an issue with leadership. If the leadership look like us, we give them a hard time. We give them a difficult time. But if the leadership look like someone else, then they don't have much of a problem obeying that leadership or doing or following the vision of that leadership. But with our own people, we have difficult times often with our own people following leadership. It's just not nothing new. This has been going on with us for a very long time. If we can master that, if we can bring the discipline to that and get that under control, everybody wants to be the boss. Everybody wants to be in charge. Everybody wants to run the show. It can't be that way. The most qualified man or woman is the one who should be doing whatever we need to do. Whoever is best qualified should be in that position. But, some people, like you said earlier, they have an ego issue, and it's bad. And, we have the thing on here today is about group economics. One of the problems with group economics is that Black people don't want to work together. We don't trust each other. We don't have enough confidence in each other. And like I said, everybody wants to be the head, the front, the charge, the one who gives the orders. And some people are super sensitive, where as if you give them instructions, why are you talking to me like that? Why do you keep telling me what to do? We can't build in that light. So therefore, I just told you all the things that's wrong. So let me tell you how we can build. We can begin to put our resources together. We can start off small if we need to, just to gain trust in each other. Once we get that trust in each other, we'll be unstoppable. There's no one or anything on this planet that could stop us, our people, from expanding, growing, and building, except us. So we have to learn to trust each other and trust each other.
And each person, it's like each person we develop a relationship with early on, and then we disagree, which is where the conflict comes. And why do we disagree is because our backgrounds, our upbringings are different. I mean, I realized my dad who grew up in New Orleans in the 20s, late 20s, was a major influence in my life for me to be a more disciplined now and to be an athlete and all those things. And then I meet somebody who didn't even have a father, and they didn't have anybody in their household promoting athlete and or physical education and all that. And then that's why we have difficulties communicating or getting along. And so the communication has to be improved, I would say. And we have to stop it. And I've learned to stop reacting to the disagreements and the lack of harmony, and I have to learn how to respond with love, compassion, and wisdom. And that's what I see you have all the time on Shabbat when I see you teaching. You have really great wisdom and the ability to respond to people and not react. Why you say that? Why? That's where we have problems. We're reacting too much. So in your journey, you especially with having the type of family dynamics you have, what are some of the lessons you've learned, especially with women and your children, that have helped you become the wise man you are today? Which is how you're gonna. This is how you build a community.
Well, I give all credit to the Most High.
Yeah.
Without His guidance, without His blessings, without His instructions, I would be just like everybody else. But I do have a large family. I have currently 4 wives, and I do have a large family. I have currently 17 children.
Okay.
So that is by far a large family.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what has helped me to get to that level, just coming to realization, the realization of life and the needs and necessary of being a man. A lot of males don't grow up with men in their lives. A lot of males grow up with females, parents, single parents, teaching them the way, and they usually grow up with emotional attitude or outlook toward life. They're real sensitive, they're real emotional, they don't follow instructions well, they don't work well with others. It's that type of order and structure. Usually when you get someone who's grown, who's lived like yourself, like you said, you grew up with a father in the household, it's different. I had a father in the household, but it wasn't my father. My mother was married to another gentleman who got me started in the construction trade as a laborer to help me to build my life. So, I had the an example of what a man would be, but he was a horrible example of what a man should be. So I learned from that, and I did the reverse of what I learned from him. And it helped me to learn in my nature how to be a better individual. And then as I grew into my manliness, I've learned a lot of things from the Israelite men and elders and leaderships that was in my life. And at one point, after I learned that for a long period of time, I had to take a break from all those teachings that I received from those men and get into the factual, spiritual side of things so I can correct myself, because what I learned from them was a lot of aggression.
Mm.
I was very abusive and very aggressive. I mean, a lot of that is needed in the world we are in, but it has to be controlled, mastered, and manipulated when necessary. If you don't have it, then you're very weak. But it's best to have it, but master it. Don't let it master you. But the lessons that I've learned from the Israelite community, my elders, was to allow it to master you. And it got me in a lot of trouble, a lot of bad times with my nashim, a lot of apologies I had to make to my family after I took that separation, and the Most High began to mature me in a different way. So I'm grateful. I'm very grateful. So it wasn't easy. If that's what you see, I'm grateful for that. You know, it means the Most High is still working with me. But it was a long journey, a long, hard journey.
Well, it makes you tougher for one, and the experience, as they say, is the best teacher. And so, no matter what you've been through, there's lessons in it, right? And when you said that you have to be tougher and aggressive and all that, it's kind of funny when I'm watching what's going on in Washington, and people are talking about, well, Trump was too mean or whatever. We're so divided on this whole thing with war, and it's just division all over the country. And then it's like, what do you expect him to act like in playing the game, the global game of war and peace? How do you expect him to act? People are like, well, he shouldn't be that mean to Ukraine. I'm like, seriously? We're trying to bring peace. And then in your situation, my situation, we're talking about family relationships. So on one level, when you look at the chess game that our president is playing, and that's what people are missing. Oh my goodness, this man is a master at this chess. He's a chess, and the moves that he makes, they develop later into checkmate, in my opinion. And so, but people get all upset with the pawns being moved and this and that. And yet we are playing this game on another level with relationships that we are in to try and help people hear from the Most High and be on purpose and develop like you did land. Why aren't more people doing what you did out there looking for land? That's the solution to a lot of the problems that people have, especially in the urban area. Why aren't more people looking for land and learning how to take care of the land? Because once you get the land, that's not the all in all. You got to know how to trim trees, take care of trees, and all the other things. So, what do you think's going on in general in our community?
No,
People are not looking for land.
what I understand is going on is that a lot of our people has been westernized.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We, as a whole, as a collective, the majority wise, we see land as something that we don't want to do. We first you got to get out there and physically work the land to produce something, and a lot of people don't want to do that physical work. Just the thought of living on land deters people from the ideal.
Oh,
They would
yeah.
rather live in the city with the convenience and luxuries of city life as a slave than to live down on some land and as still a slave, because we're here in this captivity, but you have a lot more freedom owning your own, which means you have the freedom of what type of food you can eat because you can grow your own food. You don't have to go to the supermarket once you become, I mean, maybe in the wintertime, unless you don't properly store up your items until that season. But you can grow your own food. You can dig your own wells. You can build your own houses. Or even if you need to purchase a remanufactured house, it sits on your land, it's yours. We as a people have lost the concept of the importance of land ownership. Like for example, we have 110 acres of land in Georgia, Sparta, Georgia.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah, let me tell you. And I might get a call every 2 or 3 months about someone looking for land, a person looking for land. Well, we got all this land right here. Why are you not looking to try to work with us to build what's already been done?
Yes,
You
yes.
know, our people, we don't function that way. And this is why so many of us has absolutely nothing or very little. If more of us took the little we got and combined it together, we'll be a powerhouse. We'll be a force. We will get so much more accomplished. You know, like they just had this day, this boycott day, just last Friday, where they boycotted in America. They said, don't go out and don't buy anything. Why just on that one day? Why can't we collectively put our efforts together and take a whole month really make them feel the point in what we're saying.
Right, right.
The reason why we can't do that is because we have been Europeanized, and we live off of the cities and the stores and everything that supplies our lives. We live off of them. We need them, and we don't want to. It's so accustomed. We're so accustomed to going out, relying on the everyday life that we're living. We don't want to make that change, and we don't want to interrupt what has become normal for us. Most people don't like change.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And that's why I think it's important to get children involved in what you're doing, because that's where they're more willing to change and adapt and adjust and embrace this lifestyle than some of these adults who is like, oh no, I can't do that. That's too much work or whatever. I have a friend who bought some land in Costa Rica, and they bought enough land where they started selling parts of it and letting people build their own house. You know, they built their house, and then now they're developing even more. They just sold another. So I just admire the way she and her son. It's just her and her son basically, and then now they brought in another friend who's gonna build on the house, and then they sold a portion of the land. So they partial it out to buyers who are interested in living in that space. And it's a very holistic community. So just like you, there has to be like-mindedness in that space. Otherwise, what, you're going to have more conflict. So when you say you want people to come and check out your land, what are some of the things you're looking for in the people who would live on that land with you? What are you looking for if someone's interested in land and they come there? Well, I'd like to live here. What are some of the standards you are putting out there?
All right. Primarily, you have to live your life to serve the Creator. You know, that's the first parameter there, because it's the Creator that keeps us all together. It's our culture that makes all of this work.
Yeah.
No, because we're all dedicated to the worship of the Almighty. That's what keeps everything in order and perspective. Right? So primarily, that's the first thing. The second thing is cooperation. If you're going to come into a community to live, you have to be willing to put in some work. There's a lot of people that are living in your community in freeload and will do very little or almost nothing and expect the greater results. And that's not the way it works. You get out what you put in. So you have to be one that is willing, well, you should be one that is willing to get out and get dirty and contribute to the upkeep and the betterment of the community itself. Those things are two important things. The third thing would be that you have to have a way to sustain yourself financially, because that's overlooked in a lot of situations. And then when you come into the land, people are suffering because they can't afford to take care of themselves. You know, and then as a spiritual leader, you're producing and you're giving and you're helping the best you can. But after a while, that will drain you. So therefore, people should have some type of means of providing for themselves. I like the gentleman who gets creative, and he doesn't want to go work for someone else. So he gets creative and he goes out and sells dog houses. He go out and sell rocks or staffs or, you know, things that he get creative and make with his hand. Take pine cones and paint the pine cones, decorate them, stand out on the corner and sell them. But he's a man, and he's doing what he can to provide for his family. You know, he might take a lawnmower and travel the neighborhood and cut grass. You know, he can go and get a bill and collect trash for the whole everybody in the area and take their trash to the dump on trash days for a small fee. He has to get creative in his thinking. He has to become ingenuity. So these are the type of people that I would request, you know, if they're interested, that those type of people are the ones who we would be willing to allow to live in the land, on the land, before we just allow those other ones who just really don't want to work together. And they have to be willing and able to follow instructions because that's extremely important. They have to be able and willing to work with others because that's extremely important. There's not a lot of people that want to do that. They say they do until they get put in that position, and then their whole spirit change and they become other people. And then they've been living there 2 and 3 years, and it's just a difference then. And that's not good. We all have to work to this to make it happen, to make it work.
So, do you have written guidelines and standards when somebody does show an interest on this is what you can expect if you live on this land?
Yeah, we do. We
Okay.
do. And before anyone comes to live on the land, we sit down and have a conversation with them,
Yeah.
let them know what we expect out of them. I usually take the time to meet the individual where they're at and see where they're at, how they're living, and get a feel for them. But that doesn't always work. A lot of times there's hidden dangers lurking that you can't see.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
And
not.
we usually do a background check as well to make sure that the people wasn't mentally dangerous.
Yes, yes. I got in. I invested in a property, a rental property with someone. It was only three of us, and Priscilla, she was
Oh
one of.
yeah, that's AIM. That's the crown mother of our community.
Yeah, we had a challenge with the other person. Oh my goodness, it was a nightmare. And but I learned something about that whole situation about investing in rental property with somebody. And I thought I knew them, the person well. After 2 years in this investment, ooh, all the narcissism came out, and it was like, whoa, where'd that come from? So yeah, I'm glad you point that out. You got to interview, and then you got to even do more checks, and then you got to be watching and waiting for that narcissistic energy to come out where they know the ego shows up, and you're like, where'd that come from?
Yeah,
Well, they were triggered. They get triggered easily.
yeah.
So yeah, there has to be like a probation period.
Well, once we let you in, we don't usually put you out. I mean, unless you just get disrespectful, all around disrespectful, that's a
Yeah.
different story. Then you have to leave. And we've had several people that have gotten really, really disrespectful. Let me tell you one little, well, she gonna get mad. That's okay. She need to, because I'm about to bring it out. We had a school on our community in our land. We had a school that we started back in 2018, 19, somewhere in that area. And the lady that was getting paid to run the school claimed that it was her school after about a year or two of running it, maybe about 2 years. Now she claimed it is her school and she lived in the community with us. Why would you do that? I mean, it was a big ruckus, but that's what happens with people. We do that type stuff. And it's kind of dangerous because that's not how we should be. Now, had that relationship been harmonious and people wasn't, as I said, everybody wants to be the boss and running the show. Had that relationship been harmonious, we wouldn't have had these issues. See, like we've had this school now for almost 4 years. I
Mm.
haven't received a dime in payment. I'm the owner of the school, me and my wife, but I haven't received a dime in payment, not one dime. That's the sacrifice you make in ownership. But this person was a paid employee of the school who went around and sided up with people and made people believe it was hers. She was a hard worker. She did a hell of a job at what she did, but you don't own it. And she made it as if we stole something from her, and that's not right. That's not right. And she has people believing her, but we got the proof. We have the receipts, the credentials, and everything to show it that we haven't done that. The school was already on paper before we met this individual. So if the school was already on paper before we met her, how do you own it?
Well, and how old was? Can I ask how old this person was?
She was old enough.
So a senior citizen.
She's about 54.
Okay, so not a teenager. I mean, not a young
No.
millennial. So 54 is enough time where childhood ACEs, adverse childhood experiences start showing up, and your ego, and you think you own stuff and all that, and that's the risk. I think you take with group economics and starting a big community, is that these people, we get triggered as we get older if we are not consciously working on our adverse childhood experiences. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you had that experience. Is she still with you?
Oh no, no, she left
Yeah,
and opened her own school.
yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
I,
she had to go.
yeah. So
Okay, respect it.
what a great lesson, though. Great lesson.
Great lesson, but the problem is you still have people who are what I would call sleepers. They come in underneath you as if they are with you and they share your vision and they're going to support your vision. So they say. They will even live with you, eat at your table, and allow you to feed them. So that they say. And then eventually they rise up and become someone other than like you just experienced. They rise up and become somebody other than who they were and presented themselves to be. And
Yeah.
that's not good.
And it's the people that they meet in that community that will trigger that behavior,
Yeah.
because that's the, again, you're taking a risk with the more people that come into the community. We have to be mindful that there's going to be interactions and people are going to get triggered.
But see, if we respect leadership, is leadership's job to resolve these issues.
Right, 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 right.
But we
Ex-
don't respect leadership.
Yeah.
And
And
that's
where does
the
that come
struggle
from?
with us.
Mommy and daddy started it off, and whatever they learn from mommy and daddy, that's what's going to be revealed as they don't respect leadership. Because when you grow up with someone like myself, with a father like I had, who was always stressing, respect and all that, you respect leadership. But somebody who doesn't grow up with that mature adult, sober adult in their life, that's what's going to show up in their life.
It's usually what you see.
Let me read some of the comments here, because I don't want people to get discouraged. Shalom. I cannot read. My glasses need cleaning or something. Can you read that? Shalom El Kulam. Princess Medaya. Oh, that's Medaya. Shalom, sister. Thank you for joining us tonight. And then we have Guadalupe Rodriguez. Hi, sister. Good evening. She says, thank you for joining us. And she's going on very true about leadership. She knows, I think she's a medical professional. She's a acupuncture physician. So she sees that a lot. She's been on my show, and we've had conversations about the dynamics in relationships, especially when you have patients and you see people over and over again. Ego, yep, that ego comes out. And even when you think you don't someone, she says, here it is. It's a mindset. The mindset is developed from childhood and from all the traumas that people go through. Westernized, yep, all of that plays into it. And the more experienced you are connecting with the land. This is what this show is all about, that I'm going to be doing part 1, 2, 3, to however long it takes, to inspire people, encourage people that now's the time to start connecting with the land. Because this government's out of control, basically, and we can't be focusing on the chaos right now. Independent, yes, independent. She's been commenting all the way. Do not reinvent the wheel. Absolutely. And she says, who is this? Okay, this is Princess Medaya. She says, because we are comfortable here. And people don't like to be uncomfortable.
That's it.
So in the city, Chicago or wherever, they are comfortable to go down to 7-Eleven and get whatever they need, and be unhealthy for the rest of the week. And then Guadalupe said, disconnected from our true self, our heart. And don't you think, Prince, that getting back to the land, connecting with the land, being in harmony with nature actually helps you connect to your true self? I mean, what
Yeah.
have you seen? With the children, what have you seen?
Even with sickness, you
Yeah.
know, spiritual and mental development. If you watch the scriptures, whenever our forefathers would pay homage to the creator of someone or a king or basically the most high, they will humble themselves by prostrating themselves on the earth. That's a connection. That's a spiritual kinetic energy harmony the earth brings to the human body. It rejuvenates, it stimulates, it heals. The earth, the sun, the moon, all those things play a direct effect on the health or the healthiness of the individual. It's very important.
There is a Native American galactic direction prayer. Ayum Hunabku Evamaya Imaho. You ever heard that?
Nah,
Okay, it means all hail the harmony of mind and nature. And this is a prayer, it's part of a 7 galactic directional prayer that I do in the morning, and then another community, synchronistic human community, connecting with nature. And nature, including the cosmic order of things, recognizing the position of stars, and the right now we've been going through these 7 planets lined up that has brought, I mean, two or three people I know had headache. We had headaches for 2 days.
yeah.
And
See, you got the flower of life back there on the wall behind you.
yeah, this is the chakras here. All the chakras here. Oh yeah, and this one.
Green one, yeah, that's the flower of life.
Yeah.
You see
And
that Star of David in the middle of it?
yeah.
That's that
And
piece like right here. That's what that is, the Star of David.
and see you what we did, what I'm learning, and that's just the cover of my book.
Yes,
See that? Sacred geometry is
absolutely.
so interesting.
That connection back to the earth.
There's a guy who I've been listening to a lot. He keeps sending me offers to watch his free webinars. He's amazing. He talks about sacred geometry. He mentions the Star of David all the time
Yep,
because there's such energy in that shape
yep.
that is so deep in its meaning and energy and all that. So yeah, we should be really teaching about that even more.
Well, the Western man has manipulated our thinking, our thoughts, to cause us to think that that's something evil, and we don't understand the science of it. We need to learn it. Like you said, we need to teach it more. But we're so afraid of the ghost that they have taught us is a ghost walking around and taboo and a lot of things, and we're afraid of that. We it's hard for a lot of people to return back to the Most High because the religions that they have been given it's a threat there, it's a fear there that if you turn away from that, then you won't be accepted, and that's not cool. But that's our reality.
Well, and I'm at a point of wanting to just educate people about these lies and misinformation. For instance, the swastika. Uh, who was it? Yay, Kanye West posted something recently about the swastika and Hitler, and people. I was commenting on the negative post that I said the swastika is an ancient symbol that the Nazis stole.
That's right. From us,
Yeah,
people of color.
yeah. So I think we're at a period, especially with "They Ain't Like Us" music, everybody jumping on the whole earth about "They Ain't Like Us," and to educate people about our culture and not react and be triggered by the ignorance that people display and demonstrate every day, but really it's up to us to study and know the truth and share with people who are ignorant. At racism, I don't even like to use that word because it's just ignorance, and it's our job as conscious people, anointed people, educated people to educate to give the true meaning of things like the swastika and sorry, all this is our responsibility to help people evolve and grow from their ignorance.
It's correct.
So okay, that Princess Medaya said shalom, what is it, I can't read.
Zaquina, Zaquina,
Laquena.
that means elder, a
Elder.
female elder in the Hebrew language. It's a
Okay.
female elder. She's paying her respects to you.
To okay, and to I imagine Guadalupe too, because she's an elder, and Okay, Autumn Jordan, Yisrael, Shalom family. Thank you, Autumn, for joining us.
That's my other wife.
Oh,
Both
welcome.
of my wives.
Okay, we want to talk about that a little bit before we go. The dynamics and the relationship quality and the growth that you find in those relationships, because it's only mature men and women who can be in a relationship like that. And to me, it's a beautiful thing as long as there's harmony and maturity and communication and purpose. Because that's what I want to ask you about is the purpose in being in a plural or polygamous relationship. And let's see. She says, Princess Madai says, blessed to be present tonight. Great topic. And marvelous guest speaker. Yes, indeed. We're blessed and honored to have him. And then living a live life says excellent information interview, informative interview, basic military training is essential to overcome egos and Negroes. I got that Negroes that retard our growth.
And he's correct. That living a life, living a live life is correct. A lot of people who have not undergone military training are very undisciplined and very unruly. And it's not good. And a lot of our people have fled from that.
Well, military also brings PTSD, and so does even trauma in your home. So
That's
it's all,
active duty. That's active duty, yes.
yeah, yeah. If you can get in there and get out without going to war, that's great. But the downside is most of the people, not most, there's a large majority of homeless, unhoused people who are veterans, and
Yes.
that's the sad part.
Well, that's this government, this system that we have,
I'm
the way
telling you.
it's designed is not good.
And the reason that we have such a huge unhoused homeless population because there's mental illness. The mind is not in harmony with nature. That's why I love that prayer. When you have a mind that's in harmony with nature, you're not going to have mental illness because to me there's such a synchronicity and love for the birds. I get these birds that waking me up every morning and I just smile. So you can't be depressed when
It's
you
a
got
blessing.
nature everywhere.
That's a blessing.
They're teaching you how to love yourself even because look at what they're doing all day, just having fun flying around and on air, I want to give anybody on air everywhere phone 727. Do you have any comments or questions for our guests? Let me see how many people I got here. There's six people. Yeah, six people on the line. Do you have any questions? If so, speak up now. Your mic is open. Okay, let's see. Yeah, is that Mama AZ? You know what? I don't know why I can't hear you. Let me see. I got to get uh not mute. No, you're okay. Go ahead, speak. Unmute. Okay, unmute. You're unmute. Can you speak up? I can hear you, but the volume is really low. I'm trying to figure out how to get your volume up. Go ahead. No. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I think I'm on mute. Hold on. On air. I don't know log views in private. Okay, on air.
Could we show the flyer for our school while you're trying to get her on?
Go ahead. Do you have it?
I sent it to you. Do you have? I can pull it up.
Yeah. Can you pull that up? Yeah, please.
Let me go find it.
I can hear you, but I'm trying to figure out why. I can't hear you very loud. I don't know why. Can you speak? Keep speaking. Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, go ahead. I'll try and convey the message.
Yeah, it won't let me share the screen.
Do you have? She's asking. Do you have teachings to? There we go. Yeah, we're showing.
Can you see that flyer?
Yeah, it's
No,
small.
it's not blown up on your screen. If I send it to you, would you be able to pull it up?
Yeah, if you email it, well, let me see.
I could text it to you, correct?
Yeah, you did text it to me. Let me see where it is.
Yeah, that's correct.
I'm trying to figure unmute it. Yeah. I don't know where, and I don't lecture mode, put meeting on hold. Okay, wait a minute. We're trying to get the flyer up.
And what was the lady's question? I couldn't understand what her question was.
She wanted to know if you have classes where you can teach people how to build. Is that right, Mom Az? Can you hear me? I don't know why. Co-host. Okay, keep speaking. Go ahead, Mom Az. So we're gonna have to perfect the system. Anyway, that was her question. Can you read? Let me. You know what? Here's what I'm gonna do. Call me on my phone. Okay, I got the flyer on my phone. This flyer right here, the Goshen. I'm gonna just read from it.
I just gave you some instructions. It says, make sure your phone is on speaker so you can hear the callers we can hear you, and take your phone off mute. Your callers are talking among themselves because they can't hear you.
Right, that's what I'm trying to get my phone on speaker, but that's why I didn't call. I need to call in because I don't have my phone on speaker. I'm on. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. Okay, go ahead, Mom Az. Go ahead now. Now I'm not getting. I can't get it off mute. Okay, that's not working.
Well, then, why don't you call in like you suggest?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So what? Oh, you took.
You have reached the on-air
You took the
radio
flyer
network.
down.
Please state your name and you will be entered into our studio.
Can you put that flyer? Send me that flyer again
until you are
Send
called.
it to you again.
Yeah, because I can't pull it up.
Please announce yourself.
Yeah, this is Viata. All right, can you all hear me now?
You got it?
Yeah.
Yes, you can be heard. Mama AC Power.
Yeah, go ahead.
You can be heard. Okay, Dr. V, can you hear me okay now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, excellent. What I'd like to know, do you have a trade school where, like we used to have back in the day, carpentry, bricklaying, house building, all of that? You take me back, my dear brother. You take me back to so far back. It's just awesome. So, do you have that in at your tribe, at your place, at your land?
No, we don't have a trade school. It would be good for us to begin to build something like that and work on that level. But currently, we do not have a trade school. But we have enough skilled people to have a school. We just got to organize, bring everything together, and that could be one of the things that we can collectively work on in the near future.
Absolutely. Well, sir, get my number from Dr. V.
Yes.
Because my vibration is headed that way before I leave the planet. And I need to have a gathering, a reasoning at the Kitchen Table University with people who are on that mind frame. Even if it's just to share what I have left at this time in my life, and I won't talk about it on the air. I'd like for it to be privately. I'm working my way to South Carolina, to Hemingway, South Carolina.
Well, ma'am, let me give you a phone number you can call, and then you can contact me and we can have those discussions. Are you ready?
No, sir. I'm not. I do
Go
not
ahead.
have a pen.
I'll take it down. I'll pass it on to her. Go ahead.
706.
Yes, go ahead. That's what I needed to ask. Thank you. I'm going to listen. Thank you, Dr. V.
Okay,
Thank you for inspiring me, sir.
I'll pass it on to you. 706
998 0888.
706 998 0888.
Yes, and that's the number to our school, and that's the number to our contracting department. You just have to say which one you're interested in, and we can have that conversation.
Okay. So in the last anyone else on air have a comment they'd like to or a question? We're talking about group economics and relationships to help us develop group economics. So, Prince, you are a unique individual who has 4 wives and 17 children. And I'd like to ask, what are some of the lessons that you've learned that have helped you develop this idea of owning land and building a community? Because it takes a lot of patience, I'm sure. And I think we talked in our first conversation I had with you about jealousy was big in the emotional challenges that you had to deal with. But just give us a little bit of some of the lessons you've learned and what's helped you have such a dynamic relationship and community.
Oh man, I give all glory to the Creator.
Yeah.
Honestly. And I've been through some times, some troublesome times, some testing times, some very times when you have to control your spirit and your energy. What I've learned is that envy is a powerful, and envy is a real thing.
Oh, okay.
And with our people, when we see someone doing good, getting blessed by the Creator, moving in the right direction, donating their energy to feed the homeless, the fatherless, the widows, the poor, the elderly. We see people doing those things. Instead of supporting that, we try to tear them down. We try to take them out of position. We try to harm them. Therefore, our people never rise because we don't collectively work together to build, to support. There's nothing that we cannot do if we put our minds together and begin to work together. So that's what I've learned, the need and the necessity of people coming together to work together. Leave the ego alone, leave the pride alone. You get a lot of people say they want to build. I mean, take a call for the majority of the people in the nation today, the black people in America. How many people want to work together and build something? Ask that question. You'll get like 60, 70% saying, I'm willing to do that. But where are they at? When is that going to happen? Because we're still talking and very few are actually making these sacrifices to get out there and do the work. We got a community. We're here. We're not talking about it. We're actually doing it. We're making the sacrifices to be there, to grow, to build, and to provide a place for others. We're making that sacrifices today, but we need the community to work together, to join in, to build it, to make it great, because we can't do it by ourselves. No one man does anything. And if he is, it's because he's using the people. We're not about using people. We want to help people, but people have to want to help themselves.
So, in terms of conflict resolution, which is something that we all need to practice just to be healthy, because if we hold on to too much conflict, it'll affect our health eventually. So, what have you found to be the best procedure or process to use when you have a conflict? What are some of the steps you take to resolve conflicts in your relationships?
Well, we use Torah, the principles of Torah, and your understanding of Torah. Torah being the first 5 books of Moses, which lays out laws that we are to abide by. A lot of people have conflict in their lives because they don't understand the principles of communication.
Mm-hmm.
You let somebody speak, you let them say what they have to say, and you can't tell somebody how they're supposed to feel because different people are affected different ways and things make them feel differently. Now, if you're dealing with a personal relationship with you and your wife, then those parameters are different because y'all have to sit down and have that conversation when it's best for y'all to do so. Like, let's say, for example, if another brother and myself, we have discrepancy, we have controversy where he doesn't want to do or I don't want to do, and we having a disagreement, a major disagreement, then we need to step back for a moment, take some time to meditate on what the other person was putting out there as the issue and see if we were in that person's individual's position, see how we could resolve their problem from their standpoint, from their viewpoint. Come back to the table after examining each one's. Now, it sounds strange, but I'm telling you, it will work. After examining and putting yourself in the other person's position, you can see the difference between their thoughts and your thoughts, and you're able to come up with a better resolution. Well, we don't do that. We don't have empathy. We don't put ourselves in the position of an opposer. We don't, and we need to practice that more often. We need to really humble our spirits and put ourselves in someone else's position and try to understand why they're doing what they're doing and how best to resolve their issue from their standpoint. And if we both did that and brought that together, then we will be fine. And I said it was different between a man and a woman and two men. Now, with a man and a woman, we as a people have to understand that the man is supposed to be the head of the house. He's supposed to be the one who has the final decision in everything that takes place in our family. But we have an issue with that as well.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and that's why so many families are being destroyed after 1 or 2 years. There's very few that can go the long haul and be successful. Nowhere in the Bible did the Creator ever tell you that you're going to be happy in your marriage. Nowhere. But we have this illusion that marriages doesn't require work, and it does. Marriage requires a lot of work, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of empathy is required to have a successful marriage. Most people don't understand that. Therefore, when they butt heads, they separate and they run in a different direction. And then they speak ill about each other. And that's not good.
So there has to be some guidance, you're saying, especially in a relationship where there's women and children, like the Bible or the script, the Torah, for some guidelines that both people agree to, or all the participants agree to, right?
Yes.
And then there's the services that everyone attends once a week, where you come together and you discuss and you interpret. Really, you're interpreting the Torah, because
Well, what I try to do with Torah is I try to make it relative to our everyday life. My main purpose for teaching is to build families one soul at a time. Building families one soul at a time, which means you're as you're speaking to a mass group of people, as you're speaking to multiple people, you're trying to give a message to each one, a message that when they leave that Shabbat service, they have improved their lives, because that's what we're attempting to do here.
absolutely improve in every weekly, daily practices. I was trying to figure out how to get this flyer. I just had to email it to myself.
Yeah.
So I wanted to share. Is this the one? Yeah.
Yes, that's it.
So this is beautiful, huh?
GHA at Temple Kifarim. That's the name of the school. GHA at Temple Kifarim. Goshen Hebrew Academy at Temple Kifarim. That's our school. That's the school that we have on our community that owns and operates from our community in Sparta, Georgia. But it's online and in-house. So children all around the world attends our school.
Okay. And what's the fee to attend?
For one student, it's $400 per student.
Okay.
But we have offers, we have deals. The more students you bring, the better the discount is.
That's a great idea. I love that.
Yeah, we try not to close the doors to anyone. We have special programs where if people can't afford it, then they do things like substitute teach. They'll help out in the staff and help out in other areas, because we know that our people are not in position to receive the best education because of finances. So we try to give them the best education because of the help that they can contribute to the process. But
Okay.
the education, the average student, the beginning enrollment is $400, and we're accepting students today. We're accepting students to come into the school today. We have approximately 26 to 28, maybe 30 students now. We may have up to 30 students now. And we've been open and operating now going on 4 years. This is our 4th year here. So we're doing pretty good. I'm grateful. Very grateful. Most
And
High has been merciful.
do you have school in Philadelphia too?
This school here, Goshen Hebrew Academy, is in-house, which means the children on the land attends the school and is virtual.
Okay.
So we do online teaching to other people who live in other states.
Right.
So Philadelphia would just be another place, but they can attend the school.
Okay. Well, yep. That's how our lives are now. Everything's virtual. You can do everything online, right?
Yeah. And with this president we got, he's he's going to make that mandatory real soon.
What, that you do everything online?
They're trying to shut down public schools.
Yeah, I think it's about time. It's like,
Yeah. So where else they going to go? Right to our schools. Schools like us, if not us. Yeah.
yeah, it's like people are so, you know what I feel, the main emotion working in this country is fear. The fear mongering, if it's not bird flu, everybody's afraid of what Trump might do, what might happen. So everybody's protesting because they think they're losing something, and they're afraid to lose something.
They're afraid to lose their freedom, and that's why they don't worship the Creator and serve the Creator like they should. Because everybody want to party, everybody want to smoke, everybody want to drink what they want to drink, they want to sex who they want to sex. But if you're really living a life dedicated to the Creator, abstinence is primarily number one. Abstinence until you're married. And you won't want to put any poisons in your body. The poisons you commit murder. And the law says thou shalt not commit murder. We don't want to give up those freedoms. So therefore we have stepped in what we call religion. Same thing while we trapped in these cities because we don't want to give up the freedoms of just if you want something, you can walk around a corner to a corner store and get what you need. Can't do that when you live down south. Then the closest store is a good 5 miles away. It's not that simple.
And I found, I lost my car. It's been about 2 years, and I found I don't go to the store as much. I'm saving money without a car, not just for insurance, and I'm sharing my son's car because he bought another car. But when he's working at home, I'll use his car. But it's really a blessing that I don't have a car because I don't go to the stores often. I have to ride my bike if I do want to go, so I'm getting more exercise. But it pays to get a little uncomfortable with your lifestyle and your routines because you actually make better choices because you can't go to the store. Imagine if people are living out there on your land. How far away is the store now?
The closest is almost 5 miles from the house,
Okay.
and that's a dollar store.
Oh, forget it.
There is a store on a corner of the block about a mile away. There is one about a mile away, but the biggest store where you can really get some stuff is a good 5 miles away.
Which means if you don't have a car, you're gonna walk 5 miles, or you're gonna get a ride from. You're gonna have to ask someone else for a ride, and you're not gonna be going as frequently. I'm
Yeah,
surprised the store is even that close.
yeah, yeah. It all depends on what you're looking for.
Yeah.
But the closest town where you can really go shopping is Milledgeville. That's 25 miles away.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Keep your money in your pocket.
Yeah.
So we are really grateful that you took this time to share the possibilities of being out on the land and helping your brothers and sisters grow food. The video I showed in the beginning, were those okra, was that okra grown on your land?
Yes.
Oh boy, I need to come and get some lessons on growing food because I cannot grow food in my yard. But you know why? The soil is too sandy.
Hmm.
So are you who grows the food on the land?
Princess Medallia.
I need to talk to her. How do I build up my soil? Is what I
Yeah.
have to do.
Yeah. Princess Medallia. I can send you her number later on.
Yeah,
Give
yeah.
her a call. She'll talk to you as she learns. She'll tell you what she knows.
And so these are the things, people, that we need to learn when we're looking for land, when we want to build our house. And the other thing I wanted to ask you about, if someone decided they wanted to use a shed, and like in your situation, you actually brought in a prefab building, right? Or structure.
Yeah, we have several of those.
Okay, so what's the average cost to bring in a prefab structure?
It depends on the size.
Yeah, exactly.
The last one, the
The
last one. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, the smaller size, from the smaller size to like a larger one like you have. Yours is fairly large, isn't it?
We have small ones and we have large ones.
What's your
Yeah.
smallest size?
Was it 10 by 6, 8 by 16, I believe it is.
Oh, okay. That really is okay.
Yeah. So we have one that size, and the largest is a 16 by 40 or 44, so in that area.
Okay.
So the last project we did, we actually built a house for my wife's father. He's no longer with us, but before he passed, we built a house for him, and that was quite costly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was because we did it and we did it well. We did it very, very well. So
It wasn't a prefab. You actually
it
built
was
it.
prefab.
Oh, it's
Shell
prefab.
itself might have cost us 10 to 12,000 for the
Uh-huh.
shell.
Uh-huh.
Then we built an addition onto the shell as an outside laundry room,
Okay.
and we did it up completely. Electric, plumbing, drywall, new windows. We did some new windows, and we did it up completely, and that was pretty costly. I would say altogether we may have spent a good almost 100,000.
Oh, and that's the bigger size.
Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
bigger size. But we beautified that house. I mean, the ceramic tile bathrooms, so
Oh,
are yeah, kitchen backsplash. It's a beautiful house. The stove in his kitchen was $1,000, just a stove. So it's a beautiful house. We didn't cut no corners on the house. That's why it was so expensive. Now, if we would have made a lower end house, we might have spent about 40 or 50,000, making it livable just for a person to live in with decency. But you can do a lot cheaper, if you want to do cheaper. But me, I like nice things. I'll take my time to get what I need to make it nice.
and so the least expensive house that someone could create on your land would be like 8 by 6. I lived in an 8 by 20 house on wheels for 5 years. It was great. I loved it. But I had to put a lot of things underneath. I had a storage underneath department, and I had to get rid of a lot of books. I couldn't bring 200 books into that space. So, if someone wanted to come to your land and they said they want to just live in a 8 by 20, what would you average they would have to spend to have their own prefab house come in?
Well, that all depends on what they want to do. I mean, to get the prefab, it might cost $5,000 to $6,000 for the house itself.
Okay.
Whatever they want to do inside the house, we can
Yes.
come together as a community and we can
Yes.
get the house done. If they
Okay.
buy the materials, we can do the labor.
Okay.
We can cut the costs in that area because it's such a small house. We can do it ourselves. But
Right.
if it's a large house, then we got to get outside people to come in to assist us, and they need to be paid. So a lot of that money goes to the workers, but it's something small we can do ourselves. I mean, when I say workers, when it's a large job, we sub out work to contractors who work for our company.
Right.
If it's something small, we can do it ourselves because we only have a small crew that works on the land.
Yeah, it's like I did most of the work other than the plumbing and the kitchen sink, and um I did all the painting, and I did the floors. My son had extra flooring left over.
See, you're a different type of breed, and that's the type of people that I'm talking about.
Yeah,
People who are willing to get dirty, and
yeah,
that's needed today. They're going to force us to get dirty. The way that the world is going right now is mandatory, is forcing us in that direction. But a lot of people are resisting. They're resisting by not coming together, working together, and building together, staying in these cities, remaining in these cities. And then some people say, well, I want to get me some land. Them brothers over there got some land. Why don't you go and join over there with them brothers right there? Oh no, I want my own. Selfishness. That's not the way to do it. Because soon as hell breaks loose on the earth, you by yourself, who's going to help to protect you and your family? Who are you going to have to depend on? It's not that way. We need communal living for our survival. Healthy, spiritual, communal living. Everybody runs to the cities because the life is easier in the cities for people. They don't have the fight in them to really go for the long haul and build what you need in the country. You know, it's you got to get creative, because if you go to the country with the attitude, I'm gonna get a job and I'm gonna work in a nearby city, you run into all types of complications. You got to get creative when you come into the country. If you got an income coming in, that's a fixed income. You ain't got to do nothing. That's great. You can have that. But for those who don't have that, you got to get creative, find ways to engineer so you can make money for yourself. What we did was we opened a company to manufacture homes. Yeah, it's Build Israel Homes. That's the name of the company.
Oh, really?
Yeah, where we can buy prefabbed houses, mobile houses from the distributor, the manufacturer who make them, and then we can sell them to our people cheaper than what they would get if they went to the manufacturer or another distributor. They got a markup of like around 100, 150,000 on each house. But we don't do that with our people. We want to see our people come up. We want to see our people make money. But our people don't support what we're doing. So we have issues, we have problems, but you know, things can be affordable if we work together.
Yeah, and that's why I'm determined to use this platform to encourage people, inspire people, educate people on what you just talked about, that you have a company. Now, I'm glad you told me that, because you can be a resource and a company that we can refer people to when they're interested in doing building their own house. That's the whole purpose of this series I'm doing, because I didn't have to build this place. It was sitting here, an empty shed, but it was already insulated. 320 square feet, already insulated. It just needed a plumber, and someone like yourself, hire a plumber, bring in the kitchen counter, and bring my bed in, and all that for less than 10 grand. And it would have been even more if I had to insulate, but I had to insulate the ceiling, but I didn't have to do, all the walls were insulated. So all I had to do was paint and fill in.
A good bag of insulation is over $100.
Yeah.
A
Okay.
good bag.
A good bag, you said?
A good bag of insulation will cost you over $100.
Right, right.
And if you got an 8x20, you're gonna need quite a few bags.
No, this is 320 square feet. The 8x20 was before.
Oh, okay. Okay.
This one's 320 square feet. So that would have been a whole lot of bags. This would have.
Yes.
But the person who left it here in my son's backyard put insulation in the walls. I'm like, oh, how nice.
They was getting ready to do something with it.
Yeah, it was a storage for his lawn equipment. And then the other thing, to show you how the Most High works, the tile that was used in the house, the 3-bedroom house that my son lives in, he left the remaining tile in the shed in a corner. So by the time I was ready to put in my bathtub, the guy said, well, what kind of tile are you going to use for the bathtub? I said, well, let's see how many tiles are over here in the corner. Do you know what's the exact number of tiles that fit around my huge tub? Everybody, why you got to have a huge tub? Because I'm tall and I want my legs to stretch out. The exact number of tiles that we needed.
That's cool.
I said, Most High is, oh my, I just praise and thanks for that.
He was looking out for you. He was looking out for you.
And then my ex-husband and my son put a roof on this place before I even thought about moving in here. Everything, we want to encourage people to look for synchronicities in their life and opportunities to make the changes we're talking about that will help you be in a community, a safe community, and grow in ways you never imagined. Being in a smaller space, you can travel more because you're not paying huge amounts of rent or mortgage. So there's just so many benefits to living a life, changing your lifestyle, basically, from the consumerism and stress,
Yes,
main stress.
it's needed. It's needed. We need to change our lifestyle. We need to change our eating habits. We need to change the way we think, the way we pray, the way we meditate, the way we fast. We need to change everything about ourselves because we don't do most of those things that I mentioned. And we
Yeah.
don't understand the healing power that comes through those things. Fasting, praying, meditation, these things are powerful for your soul.
Yeah, so we've been on for what, a good hour and a half, which is great. I hope everyone has. Is anyone on air again? Last call. If you have a comment or a question, the mic is open now. Figured it out finally. So thank you, Prince, for sharing all this information because we're really serious about helping people make the changes. It's not easy, but we want to help you with information and education about how to do it. And we just share
Well,
this with your friends.
we can use all the help we can get. We're
Yeah,
educating our children.
yes.
With the school, we're educating our children. With the adults, we're education through our community. The community is named Beulah Land at Temple Kifarim. Beulah Land at Temple Kifarim. Beulah means wife of the Creator.
Beulah
Dr.
Land.
V, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Do you have one more question?
I do. I have a comment. Today is a 5. If you add the numbers up, 5 represents change, leadership, and so on and so on. And I am abundantly grateful to all who are on this line and who spoke. I have much gratitude, sir. Much, much gratitude, Dr. V. And thank us. Thank us.
You're welcome.
May the Most High be praised.
And so I'm going to end with some of you who may not have been here in the beginning. I'm going to end with his beautiful YouTube video that we played in the beginning to give you an idea of how the love and harmony and energy, the beautiful energy that exists on this land. How many acres again? 30?
110.
Oh, 110. And I was on when I had my tiny house on wheels in Mount Dora out in the boonies. It was 11 acres. And I used to, the guy who owned that land, I was like, boy, this is a lot of work. I learned that if I didn't learn anything else, I learned it's a lot of work to own 11 acres of land.
A lot of work.
So when people say, "Oh, I want to get some land," you're right about, "Oh, I'm gonna get my own land." No, you don't want to do that. That's too much work. You ain't it'll fall apart. The trees, he had to trim trees all the time, mow the lawn. It was so much to do. So I highly encourage people to check out the Beulah Land at Temple Kifarim because you can't do it by yourself. You really can't.
That's true.
This is why we're moving from building your own tiny house, but finding a community, finding the land, and finding someone like Prince Yisrael who can help you develop the spiritual journey that you need to be on to be disciplined and to work together and resolve conflict. So brother or Prince Israel and I are going to do another video in the coming weeks to talk more about the relationship dynamics, right? Where we go deeper into resolving conflicts and all the things we need to learn when we are in that community. So we're going to follow that up with another land. So let's, if for those of you who
This is for the people in the front and the back. Going through the day, you had a lot to do, and you know you got a lot on your plate. Then you gotta make sure you get through the day. And although we got a lot to worry about, I just gotta stop and say, you got it, yeah, you got it, yeah, you got it. Put your foot on the pedal, don't you stop it, you got it, yeah, you got it. Keep on going, put your foot on the pedal, don't you stop it. Every day, life throws something at you, but be prepared to shift and you start anew. Gear, keep your life in motion, it's part of the commotion. Oh, stay the course, get your life on track, and whatever you do, there's no looking back. The load gets heavy for us sometimes, but let me sing this to you so that I can remind you. You got it, yeah, you got it, yeah, you got it. Put your foot on the pedal, don't you stop it. You got it, yeah, you got it. Keep on going, put your foot on the pedal, don't you stop it.
Many moving, but they always getting stuck. Thinking up the road smooth, but it's kinda tough. It all could change up in a minute. As fast as change clothes after cleaning. You just have to put yours on. Spread your wings and just soar. One day we all gonna see. Then we can roll. I see rise, just gotta believe. First you got to plant that seed. Don't let no one pluck it, keep it away, yes, out of reach. This is why, cause if you let them, they will bring you low. And you don't want that, just to let you know. I said that all to say you got
it, yeah, you got it, yeah, you got it. Put your foot on the pedal, don't you stop it. You got it, yeah, you got it. Keep on going. Put your foot on the pedal, don't you stop it. Some say that love is an illusion to those willing to see. You can call me crazy, cause it's tale I do believe. The thought of my beloved keeps me grounded every day.
Beautiful, beautiful. I just love that video. So thank you so much for joining us. We're going to say shalom, good night to everybody. And we will meet again.
I love it too.
Okay, love you too. Whoever that is. So thank you, Prince. Have a good evening and stay warm. And
Does she have a question, or are we going to just close out?
Is that? Do you have a question? I don't know who that is.
All right, sis. Thanks for having us.
Priscilla James reacted. Okay.
Oh, that's AIM.
She's watching. Did you want to say end with a prayer? Okay. Who is that? Madaya.
No, that's AIM. That's AIM Kater. That's two, as you say. Yeah.
Okay. Did you have a comment? Okay. Did you want to say? Can you say ending?
It's a beautiful show. I love it.
Oh, okay. Thank you for tuning in.
All right. We can make prayer if you like.
Yeah, please. Can you say a prayer?
Yeah, I
did. AIM Kater. Abinu, we ask of thee, O great King, for permission to approach unto your throne. Father, thank you for your mercy, your kindness, your protection, and your blessings that you have placed upon us, your people. We ask, O great King, that you would allow this information to be impactful in the decisions that people make in their lives, rather to come together as a people or to remain separated. Of course, we would pray that our people will unite and be empowered to do for themselves and experience what real sovereignty and real freedom truly means. Help us, O great King, for we have been under a curse for so long. Help us, O great King, to separate ourselves from that which is wicked, evil, and unrighteous, and embrace that which is powerful, beautiful, and righteous, and pleasing and acceptable to you. Empower our people, Father, for that's what we need. Teach us to love each other, to work together, and to be kind and gentle and understanding toward each other. If it is your will, Father, allow these things to be done in this lifetime, which will last throughout many generations to come. Unto thee, we all say, Toda, Abi. Thank you, Creator, for hearing our prayers.
And so it is. So everybody have a beautiful evening, peaceful evening, rest well, and we'll see you next time. And by the way, for those of you who've been asking, I did upload my Belize video on my YouTube channel. So if you go to my YouTube channel, you can see all the pictures and videos from my trip to Belize. All right. Mwah. Love you all. Shalom.
Shalom. May the